Good morning. It is Tuesday. I am so excited to have you here this morning. Um, Looking in scripture, just getting some things done, getting ready for Easter. I don't know about you. I am super pumped about Easter. Looking forward to getting together with our believers, worshiping, getting together, whether online or in person, doesn't matter. Just worshiping together with you this year. I don't know. I'm just excited about doing so. Looking forward to that. Doing the 21 Days of Hope. Hopefully, I know most of you are that come on and watch this. Got our message today, and right, it's a good one, and there's some challenging moments to it, right? So if you've read through this, it is wanting you to make a post on some type of social media, if you can, about when you decided to follow Jesus and how that decision impacted your life. 1 to 2 sentences. That's going to be a challenge. And then it's got a bonus step about sharing your faith over a selfie video about 45 to 90 seconds. So a minute to a minute and a half, not super long, but you're not trying to share every detail, right? You're just trying to share some highlights and most important things. And so, if you're doing the 21 Days of Hope, I hope to see a bunch of these. Please tag Villa. If you do post them, you can use if you make a video and you do that, or even if you just make a post, use the hashtag We Are Villa. You can tag Villa Baptist Church as the church that you go to. Use it as a way to invite people to Easter Sunday with you and come to worship with you. But whatever you do, if you don't want to tag us, and that's okay too, just reach out to me. Let me know you did it, and then I'm gonna go and find your post, and I want to like it because I want to hear your story and see your story too. So that's my little commercial for the 21 Days of Hope. This morning in Colossians 1. Colossians 1 is our verse, and then we can get into some hellos and highs and all of these things. And I just saw a comment that I want to make a comment on, response to. But let's get to Colossians 1, verse 20. Colossians 1, verse 20. I'm actually going to read verses 15, and then I'm going 15 through 20, and then we're going to stop on verse 20. And today I just am excited to share this encouragement, I think, hopefully, with you. He is the image, verse 15, Colossians 1:15. He is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation. For by him all things were created in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible. Whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities. Man, who's ever thought about the invisible things created that we don't get to see? That's super cool. Thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities, all things created through him and for him. Let's take note there that all dominions, rulers, and authorities were created through him and for him. Just throwing that out there. And he is before all things, and in him all things hold together. And he is the head of the body, the church. He is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in everything he might be preeminent. For in him all the fullness of God was pleased to dwell, and through him to reconcile to himself all things, whether on earth or in heaven, making peace by the blood of his cross. I want you to take a moment and think about something that is the most precious thing in the world to you. Whatever that is. I want you to take a moment. What is that most precious thing? And you don't have to, I'm not trying to get you to be uber spiritual here and say, it's God, it's my relationship with God. And it might be, but you might say, the first thing that popped in your head might have been your kid or your spouse or something, right? A grandchild or a niece or a nephew. It could be anything. Whatever that thing is, imagine that somebody comes in that you have given freedom to everything in your life. You have offered them everything in your life. You've said you can freely have anything except one thing. And that one thing being the thing that's super important. And that's the thing that they took. You gave them everything. You let them have everything. They wanted the one thing they couldn't have, and they took it from you. Imagine, though, the feeling. Not only, I know our initial feeling would be anger, but our feeling of just, why? That loss, that hurt, that I gave you everything. I gave you freedom to have all. And you took the one thing that I told you not to take. Like, was one thing not enough? And it didn't even matter, right, what it was. It was that you couldn't even leave that. Like, everything else was given to you. And not only did you take it, but you destroyed everything in the process. Imagine the hurt and the pain. Yes, anger. I get that. And it's rightfully so. But imagine the pain and the hurt and the challenge of reconciliation with that person. You took the thing that was the most important to me. I gave you everything else. And you couldn't stop from the one thing I told you not to. And in some of our cases, right, if it's a person or it's like it was in essence a selfish reason, right, that we didn't want to give that thing up, right? And that's fine. We're trying to argue this thing. Once you fall through. In God's case, right, this is the example we're putting. In God's case, though, he said, and the reason I didn't want you to take that, Adam and Eve, the reason I didn't want you to grab it is because I didn't want you hurt. Man, I gave you literally everything. And there was one thing that I knew would mess you up. And I didn't want you to have that. And I told you not to. I tried. And all of this wasn't good enough. And there has to be a punishment, right? There has to be that. 100%. But the love, the mercy, the grace that God gave us because he sent his son for us. And his son living this perfect life, giving everything he could. We talked about it Sunday. You're battling Satan at temptation at his lowest, right? Adam and Eve couldn't win at their highest. Jesus is at his lowest. He's hungry. He's tired. He's alone. He's by himself. Like, everything's against him. And he is victorious. And he lives this life for us. He goes through the pain, the suffering of living in a mortal body for us. He goes through his entire life for us. He goes through the pain of death of the cross for us. He goes through the pain of separation from his Father for us, so that what we see here in verse 19 and 20, that God was pleased to dwell in him and to reconcile through him all things to himself. Jesus did all of that stuff for us so that we could have forgiveness, so that we could be reconciled, so that we could have peace. And that peace was given to us by the blood on the cross, by his sacrifice. People say, man, that's just, they get the wrong thing. That's gory, that's bad, that's not good. Why does God have to require? There has to be a payment. Here's the thing, if you have to understand, like, if God at any point stops doing, like, if he stops requiring it, if there's no payment, if there's no sacrifice, if there's no restitution for what was taken, then where we would live in heaven would not be pure. It would be no different than what's here on earth. It would be the same broken, messed up, out of control situation. And that's what we have here. But with God, it's different, because with God, there can't be sin. There can't be bad. There can't be any of those things. And he can't change it. I think there's many people that God's like, come on, come this way. My son's right here. He's willing to pay your price. And they're saying, no. I don't want your son to pay my price. I'm going to do it. I've got a different way. Let me in. I can't. This is the only way you can come in. And they're like, well, I'm not doing that. And they walk away, and I see God going, please, just come back. I want you to have peace. And let me do it my way. No, I can't. Like, that's not possible. You have to do it this way. But it's laid out for you. You don't have to do anything. You just walk like this way. And they say no. And sometimes as humans, we that's not fair. I think there are good people that are going to not get into heaven because they did it their way. Yeah, that's right. But it is fair. It is right. Because of what we have already done. Right. There's already a debt. It has to be paid. But what? We should be so excited as Christians. Like, people ask, like, how would you have hope in bad situations? How would you have joy in bad situations? Because I know at the end of the day, this bad situation is going to go away. This pain I'm dealing with is going to fade. This loss, this hurt that I have is going to go away. The struggles and the challenges that I have to live my life in a way that I want to live them, all of these battles, these thorns, these things that I would love to get rid of, these things that I would love to not be a part of my life, eventually they go away because of what Jesus did for me on the cross. And I know what's waiting for me after I die. I'm going to do my best. I'm not going to sit back and just coast. I'm going to do my best to sacrifice. I'm going to do my best to give. I'm going to do my best to grow. But when I'm down in the dirt, when I'm down in the mud, and I'm saying, this is too hard, this is not, this too shall pass. Eventually, I'm going to be able to sit next to God, and I'm not going to worry about any sin. I'm not going to worry about the temptations that I can't seem to get a hold of. I'm not going to worry about the despair. I'm not going to worry about the pain. I'm not going to worry about the suffering. I'm not going to worry about my thoughts. I'm not going to be worried about my brokenness because it's all going to be wiped away. And I don't know of any other way to be more excited. If someone told me, look, it's going to be really, really painful, but I promise you in a month you're going to be perfect. Right? If I was guaranteed, I'd go through some pain. I'd go through some hurt. I'd go through some challenges, even if it was hard. Right? I mean, they joke about it, right? You see all these things on Facebook, like, slap your brother for $1 million. Okay. I think Autumn, like, I don't want to, but I think Autumn has to videotape egging me because she got enough comments on a Facebook post. Like, I haven't said I'm going to agree to this yet, but she said she was going to egg me if she had so many comments. Right? So they do all this stuff, like, if you get this much money, like, and they're usually stupid, right? They're usually dumb. Like, would you slap your brother for $1 million? Yes, I would. Like, why would I not slap my brother for $1 million? Like, who doesn't slap their brother for $1 million? Like, that's insane. Someone's like, they post like these dream homes. They're like, if you could stay in this house, you could. If you were told you had to stay in this house and you couldn't leave for 60 days, could you do it? Yeah, yeah, I can do it. I mean, it's a beautiful home. I mean, this makes no sense. But what Jesus says is, hey, if you get through all of this, I promise you I'm going to heal you. I promise you that it's going to be there. I promise you that at the end of the time, you're not going to suffer this way anymore. I've already paid all the debt. I've taken care of the situation. You are good to go. You just have to get through these moments. And there's some things I need you to do along the way. I could really, really use you, and I think it would be really nice if you did these things. So do them. Right? And I say it that way because if we don't do them, he's going to get someone else to do them, but he wants us to do them. I'm not going to get into that part. But it's hard, and it's challenging, and we have to deal with things sometimes. But Jesus promises us, look, I'm not leaving you. And also, when you get through this, it's going to be perfect. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be great. So this suffering, this isn't useless. This isn't meaningless. This pain, it's not meaningless. This despair, this challenge that you're working through, this is not meaningless. It has purpose. It has a reason. And you can continue through this. I'm going to help you, and I'm promising you that eventually it's going to go away. It's eventually going to be healed. And we see that here in Colossians 1:20, that the peace that is given to us is that peace that everything is going to be restored. Everything is going to be reconciled. Not only us, but everything along with it. Heaven, earth, the things invisible, the things visible, the things seen, not seen, all of the stuff, everything is going to be reconciled to him. And that should be such an encouragement, such a hope, such an excitement, especially going into Easter, where we celebrate the fact that death could not hold our Savior. The only person in the world that raised himself from the dead, because he conquered death. And we should be excited about that. Because of all of that, we can have hope in something like Colossians 1 here, where it says, there is peace being made for you through what Jesus did. So hopefully that's an encouragement to you. All right, so let me say good morning to everybody. Kathy Whitney, good morning to you, Villa family. I was so excited. I know you posted something. I think you posted something, but everything came back fairly good, right? So we're praising God this morning for that. I'm super excited. Christy Watson, good morning. Linda Napperstick, good morning. Kathy Whitney, 30-year anniversary accepting Christ as Savior. Dude, post something about your 30-year anniversary. Honestly, Kathy, I know you don't want to. Make a short video, 45 to 90 seconds, something small. Write something down. I know you'll be nervous a little bit, but just make a video talking about your 30-year anniversary, how you did that, what it's done, and probably you could even make comments about what it's done for you lately, getting you through the challenges that you've had to go through, you and your family. Zara Mallory, good morning. George, good morning. Obviously, I'm looking at all of these stories that I fit. You know, I see Zara just serving God long term. George coming to Christ recently. Martha Stratton, again, another long term Christian. Shirley Bikeman, James Moore. Guys, you guys can make some videos. And I know it's out of your comfort zone. You're like, I don't want to do this, but you do it. I'm gonna share the heck out of it, and we'll get some feedback and telling people your story. If you don't want to make a video, just make a post if you can. You guys are on social media, so I can say this all to you because you're on social media. Like, I know you're on social media because you have Facebook or YouTube. So yeah, James, I know, Dad, I know you're not on Facebook, but you're on Instagram, so you can make a post. I know you could. All right, Candy, good morning to you. Want to make sure I said that. Oh, and they went back to the range. Man, you're supposed to come help me today. You're going back to the range. All right. So anyway, guys, I love you. I hope that you are encouraged by the idea that Jesus on the cross gave us reconciliation. He made peace for us to God, and then he didn't stay in the grave, right? He came out. So I'm super excited about that. Looking forward to what this week has entailed. And we'll keep you updated. See you tomorrow at 10. Bye, guys.